Hey guys, I have a very special fan to show you today. So what you're looking at here may look a little bit strange if you're a fan collector. This is not a model that Emerson actually made. This is the combination of two Emerson ceiling fans. One you see here made in 1930, and then a very important part from another fan made in 1937. So as a fan collector, one thing I've always been curious about, looking at the general dimensions of the 32-inch Longnose motor, the model 35661, which I have one here above my entry. Looking at the dimensions of that motor and comparing it to the dimensions of the PSC Roundnose motor, the 85641AK, made in 1937 to 1940, I thought these really seem like they have the same dimensions on the rotor and kind of overall on the fan. So I have one of these, or I had one of these that was a spare, had a lot of shaft wear. It's kind of only good for a parts fan. So what I did was I took the rotor out of it, I popped it in this fan just to see, and sure enough, it fit perfectly, like it was an exact match. The only difference being it was drilled for 4 blades rather than 6. So I have these short blades, and these are the same dimensions as the blades on a 48-inch chain hung Emerson from the late 20s. So I have these blades around and some standard Longnose 14-degree pitch irons. And I just wanted to see how this fan would operate and how it would serve in this guest room in this configuration. Ends up being great. I mean, even though you might think it's overloaded, on high speed it's still pulling about 267 RPM, which, yeah, I mean, that's slower than the 330 that the little 6-blade would have had, 32-inch fan. But it's not, it's not like it's being overworked or anything. And really on low and medium is where this fan's going to stay. So, without further ado, it's on high speed now. We'll do a high speed startup. All right, here we go. So even though this is an 18-pole motor and it can't get anywhere near its top speed, it still gets going pretty fast with this blade setup. 267 RPM. Really, it's moving a lot of air. I mean, it honestly doesn't feel like it's moving that much less than the 56-inch Longnose because it's pushing higher RPM. So yeah, I'm really impressed with the air movement. But typically somebody staying in here is not going to be having on this high speed. So medium is about 146, which is probably where this fan's going to stay. And the fan I had in here before, this little Longnose early 50s reversible model, worked really nicely on the variable speed controller, but on this fan here, it made it buzz just a little bit. And because this is a bedroom, I can't really tolerate that. So this is going completely off the speed coil and the snap switch. But this medium speed here is really just about perfect. And even though one of the blade irons is a little bit out of whack, I mean, the balance seems to be like perfect, so not really an issue. All right, we'll flip it to low. I got that snap switch for $10 at an antique store in my hometown of New Braunfels, Texas. I was really shocked that they had it marked that cheap. But yeah, I snapped it up immediately. Okay, so the low speed is just a little bit slower. It's 120 RPM. And without quite as much air movement, you hear just a little bit of a hum, but not really that bad. As this fan continues to run in after its restoration, it's going to get a little bit quieter, and you'll hear a little bit less grittiness from the bearing. So just a couple notes on the finish. Go ahead and shut the power off. This is Rust-Oleum Satin Dark Walnut. It's the same finish I used on the PSC Roundnose in my bedroom. It's probably one of the closest off-the-shelf colors to the original mahogany brown that they had, which was like a really dark brown, almost a black. I tried Kona brown at first, but it was just a little bit too red, not dark enough. So I went back to Satin Dark Walnut on this one. Yeah, it looks nice. I did a clear coat over it, and kind of learned over the years with the clear coat, you want to go pretty thick. If you don't, it'll kind of have a grainy or sandy texture, but you don't want to go so thick you get a run, so it's a pretty fine balance. Got nice little terminal blocks up on top, terminal lugs. Wound the solid core wires around the pencil to get a pigtail effect. And here's the tag. You can see it's 1929. It's got a little 9 in the bottom left. I'm not sure if you can see that, but yeah, after running for a while, it's just it's a little warm, but not too bad. Not an issue. I really don't think it's overloaded with these blades, especially just kind of running along on medium as it's set to. Yeah. All right, there's medium. Yeah, so I'll just leave it on medium, and I think that's a good intermediate speed for guests. But yeah, this was quite an interesting experiment. I really had no idea how it was going to turn out, if it would even fit. Ended up fitting just perfectly. You know, the relief with the blade irons, everything looks like a factory fan would look. And you know, the one way I could have improved this fan is if I had a spare stator from a PSC Roundnose, because I'm pretty sure that would swap in here as well. And then you could just find a place somewhere in there to tuck a 3.5 microfarad capacitor for the phase shift. And this fan here would then be a PSC fan, and it would be really a good performer, very efficient. It would probably be close to 300 RPM with this blade set on high, so a little bit faster, run a little bit cooler. But running with the shaded pole 18 pole setup, it seems to be just fine. Even though it's running at a pretty high slip, it doesn't seem to really be a problem. So yeah, I don't know what I would call this. Maybe a junior Longnose instead of a baby. Not a full size, but I really do like the proportions of it. It really looks like something that Emerson would have offered from the factory, but they didn't. But yeah, that's just kind of a neat little experiment. And I know there are a lot of people in the 70s and 80s, a lot of fan collectors that had, you know, tons of motors and did all kinds of custom jobs. And, you know, even then, I don't think I've ever seen something like this put together. So pretty cool. Nice to know that you can. And like I said, you can still improve it further if you happen to have a PSC stator to put in here, but runs just fine like this too. All right, I guess that's about all I have, but thanks for watching.